game plans.
We'll see if they can make that happen. Team Rocket known for mocking potential game plans, at least of Ash Ketchum. But we're not going to see Ash Ketchum. We're going to see Suning here trying to take them on. And we'll see what they have up their sleeves. It's the Lion against the Demon Dog here as Suning take on the Spring Champions in JDG.
My eyes are going to be towards this mid lane though, especially as this level 6 gets hit. If you can have Angel get out with this Twisted Fate, impact the top side of the map, set up Huanfeng and Sword Art on the bottom side, this is where Suning can get this early advantage and plow through JDG. But already you can see, trying to go aggressive here, get some vision down to spot out Kanavi's path.
I like this though from Suning. I like that they're forcing the issue a little bit, but they might just be answered as the whole of JDG is here. Damage onto SOFM. It's going to be... Is it late enough? I think he can't actually recall here.
He'll be okay. Graves does really well at clearing his jungle without actually taking too much damage because you got the knockback on your autos. So SOFM will be fine to just clear it out. And Smite at some point to heal himself up. So it's not too much of an issue for Graves. And it'll be pretty much standard clear now for SOFM. Looks like he's starting on this top side of the map. Working, I imagine, blue to Gromp down towards this bottom side. Could potentially go for a full clear, but I could maybe see him try and gank towards Huanfeng and Sword Art off of a bounce back on Huanfeng pushing in this bottom wave.
See where he's going to go with that jungle clear over the next couple of minutes. Unsealed Spellbook here for Yagao in the mid lane. You can see going for the Transcendence and the Nimbus Cloak, powering up his flash. But all things considered, where are you expecting the game to really pop off for these two teams, Dagda? Because it feels to me like we're going to be waiting a little bit before either teams really try and push things.
I think Kanavi can push things pretty heavily towards this top side when he wants. So I think what Kanavi's going to be looking to do now is finish off his blue in towards the Gromp, back up, and then head towards the top side once again and see if he can set up with Zoom, because this is a pretty potent gank combo where you have the Renekton set up with the Slice and Dice into that Flag and Drag, and it'll look amazing.
Well, before that happens, if he does end up going to the top lane, I just want to let everyone know about a little bit of a subplot that's going on in the LPL right now, because Bin, I think you can compare this guy to Luke Skywalker. I think that's a pretty obvious comparison. They've both got hair.
Sure.
They've both got eyes, for example. But importantly, Bin has already defeated Morgan, right? Do you know who Morgan trained under? Do you know who he was the apprentice of? Zoom.
Okay.
Bin has come in. He's taken down the Padawan, right? He's taken down the apprentice. Now he has to go against the Dark Lord himself. He has to take on Darth Sidious. Vader has fallen in the WE series. Now he has to take on Emperor Palpatine in Zoom. You on board?
I'm following. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But, I mean, it's not going to be an easy task. Zoom definitely has the heads-up advantage in this lane. And Kanavi actually now spotting out Zoom very low, though.
Yeah, he is. I really don't think you can take that 1v1. He looked like he was considering it, but I don't think that's one that's going to go your way. SOFM is going to be able to waltz on up towards the top side and take both scuttles here.
And this is kind of surprising, because you'd imagine with the pressure that Zoom has got on that top side that maybe Kanavi would have been able to pick that one up, but unfortunately because of the low health bar and because he needed to back up, is now going to be the double scuttle for SOFM. But we're still seeing this clear that we talked about from Kanavi, where he's now going up towards this top side with Zoom pushing in. This wave is going to start to teeter towards the mid. You even got Yagao as well, who's starting to roam up here on the top side of the map.
Maybe try and make a play, but Yagao, I think, is just going to move back towards that mid lane in the end, just trying to use that Scry and Bloom and clear out some of the vision coming through from the side of Suning. And Kanavi on this Jarvan, currently a level down on SOFM, and this is one of the things about this Graves is you are exceptionally good at just power farming through your jungle if there's no congestion. Then with the double scuttles as well, he has a massive advantage.
And when you're trying to clear out as Jarvan, it's very difficult for you to get those two scuttles because you, as you said, very fast clear from SOFM, but you're just able to duel so effectively as this Graves, and why it's really rising to the S tier of jungler right now makes it so difficult for Kanavi to try and match that. So he's got to go for these early ganks and try and swing the ball in favor of JDG. But unfortunately, the way things have gone so far, Suning are doing a good job of avoiding putting themselves in situations that could allow Kanavi to gank, realizing that SOFM will just outscale as this game goes forward, alongside the Aphelios and Bin in the top lane.
Nice smart play from Suning so far, and I'm excited. If Suning can continue the way that they're going right now, if they can just keep things going. They've got an Aphelios on their team. They've got a Twisted Fate on their team. They don't actually want to be fighting right now. They want to wait a few minutes first and then start to force these engages. In the meantime, SOFM, he's having his way with this entire jungle on both sides of the map.
And this is the power of Graves, but I think coming back to when we're going to see Suning actually have that action kick off, well, it's going to be when Angel hits that level 6 mark. We talked about already, getting down into this bottom lane, working in conjunction with Sword Art. And we're about to see this dueling power here of Graves where you just can't do anything as Kanavi.
We see a bit of a smite fight for the Gromp as well. SOFM is going to be able to grab it for himself, and Sword Art's moved down. There's this stun. Lumau's here as well, but doesn't really have much mana to work with. Will be able to protect his jungler at very least, but ultimately, it's not about protecting the jungler. The jungle's all gone. There's nothing for Kanavi to do here.
And usually we see JDG playing towards Kanavi to help him out, get in, get aggressive invades, but Yagao is completely out of mana in this mid lane. There hasn't been enough action towards the top side for Zoom to try and use his advantage.
Bin wants to make a fight happen right now. He's got, in fact, he doesn't even have a level lead. There's the dominance now from Zoom, who's going to try and turn this one around. Cyclone is on cooldown. But Bin winning out this trade, I feel like Renekton should win that.
You don't when the Cyclone's hit, and especially as Bin will be able to start to stack up that armor and the regen off the Stone Skin passive. But now Zoom can look to heal up off the wave as Huanfeng.
Big damage onto Huanfeng. Loken trying to use and abuse the Ezreal kit. Doing a great job of doing so as well. Huanfeng really feeling that trade for himself, and might have to back away off the back of it.
Here we go, though. Going towards that top lane. Angel wants to get in. It's actually just wandered up, not needing the Destiny here, but Zoom feeling that something's a little bit off and playing very far back.
Yeah, you have to bear in mind as well that at level 6, the Destiny is not that long range. It's about probably a quarter of the map, so you do have to walk a good portion of the way first. Trouble Bubble does land onto Angel in the mid lane, so Yagao gets a good chunk of damage down. And he's actually been doing a really good job of landing these Trouble Bubbles across the course of this laning phase so far.
Hasn't amounted to too much, though. I mean, look, you've still got an even CS when it comes towards the mid lane. Angel is getting the opportunity to go out and roam, which is the big thing, and SOFM may need Angel's help here.
Dominus is on cooldown right now, and SOFM has a lot of damage. Nice little dodge on the stun, but flash from Bin for nothing as Zoom gets away with his life. Collateral damage is available. It does a lot. If Sword Art can stop Zoom escaping, collateral damage would finish the job, and it will do exactly that. Kanavi can do nothing.
There's nothing Kanavi's able to actually achieve there, because you want to try and move in to block the auto attacks from the Graves, but if you move in, well, Sword Art has now been set up for success to get the double stun, and you possibly give over 2 kills. And why Suning are able to dictate this early pace is again coming back to SOFM and how strong he is on this Graves.
And Zoom really struggling on the Renekton here, as we do see Bin getting some tower plates for himself as well. Kanavi's here to try and contest for this Rift Herald. Sword Art has been here for a while. Lumau has now arrived, and Yagao's here too. Both AD carries still on the bottom side of the map.
No TP for Zoom, though, and Bin does have a Cyclone up and available. This is pretty risky for JDG.
They're looking for Yagao. Stun card comes through. The cleanse is the answer immediately. Kanavi desperately wants to steal this one. Zoom's arrived. This could be the team fight. Great Cyclone, though. Denies the engage from Kanavi. Still gets the Herald, and Zoom goes in. SOFM over the wall here. Zoom to follow. SOFM desperately trying to escape. Gets underneath the tower, though. True shot. Not enough to finish off Angel. They don't have the minion wave, but Yagao's going to flash on through. Zoom happy to tank, and they get a kill. JDG get the Herald and a bonus.
We talked about Suning wanting to use the Destiny to get advantages, but JDG are the ones with the composition they have that are in the lead right now. And Bin using the Cyclone defensively meant that there wasn't the damage follow-up to try and kill JDG, who, with Lumau roaming up, are able to get the Rift Herald and get that big advantage.
And I think as well, Suning quickly realized.
Pick it up? Sorry, go on ahead. I'm not sure if anyone picked up the Rift Herald, but here we go anyway. I mean, look, Angel isn't going to be able to do particularly much, very low on mana. Does get the stun onto Zoom, but it's so difficult for this Twisted Fate to enter the fight because you've got Kanavi's trying to jump onto him. He's got to avoid bubbles from Yagao, and when you've already got one person who can't really get into these fights, SOFM, again, short range, really struggles against the Renekton and the Jarvan. It's a lot easier.
Nobody got the Herald. Kanavi didn't actually do anything in that dive. I feel like Kanavi is just not having a good game right now. Even though he got the smite there, maybe he didn't realize he had actually won the smite fight or something. I'm not sure. JDG feeling a little bit disjointed in this one.
I'm getting MSC vibes as well, because JDG didn't pick it up in MSC either. But still, they stopped the play from Suning, and right now what they're trying to do is at least put a plaster over this jungle matchup, and not having that Rip Taro go over will help out quite a bit in JDG, and making sure that Suning aren't getting to the point where they can outscale them too quickly before the 2 items for Yagao and Loken can hit.
I love how Sword Art is just going full Bard as well, by the way. Like, he's basically not visited bot lane for the last 20 minutes or so when we're only 10 minutes into the game. He's been absolutely everywhere on the map so far. But it is JDG who won out the fight in the end, and you can see on the replay,
yeah,
everyone left the Herald. They all went to go for the fight. Kanavi could have just stepped on over, but unfortunate situation for them.
Look, I understand. Kanavi has been put behind all game, has been pressured by SOFM, and finally he gets some action where he's actually winning, and you just get that bloodlust. You know, you get that moment of revenge, and you end up missing out on what the strategic play actually is.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure that that's a good reason to not go for the Herald, especially if you're the spring
I never
champions.
said it was a good reason.
I don't know.
I just said it's a reason.
Here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. We talk about JDG as the smartest team in the LPL. Not picking up the Herald that you won when no one's contesting it ain't the smartest play.
That is fair. I can't argue with that logic. However, JDG are going to start trying to rack up a few of these dragons, make up for that misplay around the other objective. And with this play for SOFM being towards the top side of the map, I think we'll just see the same play as what we saw from Orangey. Just clear the top side. Don't even try and contest for this dragon.
Bin is 10 CS up, and he has already taken 3 turret plates. That's without a Herald, by the way, because the Herald didn't exist. So Bin is just miles ahead of Zoom in these top lanes somehow. Let's bear in mind, all through spring, Zoom was touted as the best top laner in the LPL. Zoom was, sorry, yeah. Bin is now contesting for that. And he's on Suning. Bin, in spring, everyone was saying he was terrible.
Well, everyone does cheer for the Rebels, and it looks like we're trying to see if Bin can make that play against Emperor Palpatine in Zoom. And so far, been looking good, especially in a matchup where Zoom should be winning. This has been doing a lot of work, and now getting to the point, especially when he starts to get towards the likes of that Triforce, that he will outscale Zoom, and it's not like JDG can play particularly heavily around this Renekton pick anymore.
Zoom going to be struggling here. And that's one of the issues, right? Emperor Palpatine, the reason he was so successful is he manipulated everyone around him. He got everyone around him to help him out. That's not really been happening in the top lane. Zoom's been all on his own.
Yeah, look, I'm real sorry. I actually did prep for this match and not watching the Star Wars movie, so I'm a little bit behind on how I can follow up on this banter, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, it's been a while since I watched him, but I watched him so many times that it's, you know,
it's ingrained.
It's part of who I am now. I'm just trying to figure out who Anakin is in all of this. Oh, wait, that was Morgan. Yeah. Anakin is Vader. Never mind. Yeah.
Spoiler alert. God.
I mean, if you've not watched Star Wars, like, I mean, if you've not
it.
watched Star Wars, first off, you're a zoomer, and second off, like, you probably have not made it through your entire life without seeing any spoilers anyway.
Fair. Either way, though, Suning still trying to put the pressure down here. Angel hasn't quite been able to get the impact we were hoping for from this Twisted Fate, but definitely we'll start to see it now more so as this game goes on. I didn't quite get to look at what he's running as his secondary tree. Could just go for this Demolish, you know, the bone plating Demolish build, going for the Resolve. And
oh, Angel's in trouble. They're going to make a play in the mid lane. There's nothing you can do to get away from that one. Oh, well, I guess we found their win condition, right? Just jump on in with a Yuumi. Oh, SOFM could be in trouble here because Yagao doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon. Paddlestar, ooh, if that trouble bubble had landed, it could have been a nightmare.
Dragon will now be picked up by JDG here as well off the back of that play. And we did find out that Angel is not running that Resolve tree as secondary because the bone plating didn't proc. So it won't be this split push Demolish Twisted Fate we're looking at. Instead, Angel will be looking to get into these fights just like this.
SOFM's in trying to get the smite fight, but he smited way too early on that one, and it means now the team fight going the way of JDG so far, but the Cyclone might just turn things around. Bin looking to be the impact player right now. Kanavi flashes out of the pit, but in comes Angel to answer for the gank in the mid lane. Has to go golden immediately, and now can look for a stun card. Zoom escaping though. It's going to be the Tempered Fate. Zoom left on his own and will be cut on down by SOFM.
And that was a fantastic play by Suning. JDG want to try and use that range advantage that they have in Yagao and Loken, but if they're all boiled down in the pit, it makes it so much easier for Suning to get on top of them, give access for Huanfeng and SOFM, and Angel coming in perfectly with those gold cards to set up alongside Bin.
Now we're going to see Suning. They're the ones that are going to be able to go for this Herald off the back of this fight. They know there's no contest available from JDG, and they're even, look at that, they picked it up. They're actually going to use the Herald. This is genius League of Legends.
Whoa. We don't know if they're going to use the Herald. It could still accidentally time out, but it's a step in the right direction, and that is exactly what we're seeing from Suning coming into this, because if you look at them in spring, Suning wouldn't have contested JDG at all. They would have just fallen behind when it came to the early game. JDG would have dictated the pace from start to finish, but Suning are coming out with SOFM looking fantastic on this. Graves getting control of the game, beating out Zoom in this top lane as well. Suning are looking incredible coming into summer.
I don't know what happened to Bin during the off-season. I don't know what kind of supplements he's taken, honestly, because
he's
the
been
guy,
recycled.
He's changed every... Yeah, he's been recycled. That took me a few seconds to get that one, but that's hilarious. He looks like a completely different top laner, and he is dominating right now on this Wukong. And the Wukong pick has been really the key to all of this success. He's looked great on the Renekton, looked pretty good on the Aatrox as well, but ultimately, this Wukong is where he's really impressed me.
And the beauty of Suning, if they can keep this advantage rolling for themselves, the 2,000 gold lead they picked up, well, that's where you can have Angel push in this bottom side of the map. You can have Bin control this side wave in the top as well, and try to make plays then with the Destiny, with the teleports. It becomes so much easier for Suning to enact their own game plan onto the JDG lineup.
Blue just going to be taken here by Yagao. So now we have to see what JDG wants to try and do next. Where are they going to try and make things happen? Because we did see the one play in the mid lane where Kanavi just blasts in onto Angel with Lumao on his shoulder, with Yagao there to follow up as well. But it feels like that situation where you catch one person out isn't going to happen that often.
Well, might be catching one person out now as I'm watching Sword Art trying to sneak in towards this top side onto Zoom.
Zoom does have his Dominus, though. This is not the easiest target to assassinate, that's for sure. Although you can just remove the tower from the equation. This is a Bard, let's remember.
The big thing here, though, is that Suning are getting control of this topside jungle.
They did it!
They've done it!
They dropped the Herald for the first time this game. We actually see a Rift Herald used.
The big thing here, though, is Suning aren't using the Destiny advantage to try and keep pressure on this bottom side while this play happens. So it will be the turret answered on the bottom side while they're going for this play in mid.
It is still going to be the turret advantage in favor of Suning. When you're the first ones to take the turret, you do still get to kind of trade evenly when it comes to towers, and you still end up ahead because you can finish off the third tower as they're going to be taking the second one. We'll see if that will be the case as Suning. They've only got one remaining. It's down in this bottom lane.
Angel looking to opt towards that Lichbane build as well. Has got the Aether Wisp in his pocket, so it means he'll be trying to work his way through these towers and have a bit more oomph in his auto attacks when it comes to these team fights. But Suning so far looking really good in this game, especially when it comes to keeping the pressure up on JDG. Getting down this mid lane turret makes it easier for them to take the bottom lane turret. Getting this vision so then Bin can play aggressive on the top side of the map. It's really strong play from Suning.
Fantastic stuff. And the only slight issue that they've had so far is Angel in this mid lane, right? He's 0-2 right now on the Twisted Fate, but ultimately, when you pick Twisted Fate, you're not picking it for lane strength, and it is one of these champions that when your summoners are on cooldown, you're going to be punished, especially by a Jarvan. That's exactly what we've seen.
Does have the Unsealed Spellbook, though, to help with that a little bit in trying to keep himself safe, and especially on these now that he's opting in towards the split push, he doesn't have to worry as much about Kanavi coming down to visit him, because in theory the rest of Suning will be putting pressure elsewhere and Kanavi will be stuck dealing with that instead.
I love how Zoom went in full autopilot there. He actually pathed around from the trouble bubble, even though it was Gal's trouble bubble, but it's just like ingrained in the way that you play. You do not step on the trouble bubble. Here we go, Dragon now going to be started up by JDG. Sword Art is here, but realistically, there's no contest.
They don't want to. Suning are looking to scale still.
Look at the top lane.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've got Bin that's up here working around the turret, but think about it. You want this Aphelios to get towards his double Zeal item, and you want to wait until Graves has the... Well, he's actually going for the lethality build, so you're fine to just hang on and wait for Bin to outscale on the side, have your Aphelios ready come online, and then fight for this third dragon instead.
Oh, here we go. SOFM made his way onto Yagao. Kanavi tries to get a knockup, won't actually find it. Tempered Fate goes wide though as well. Kanavi has to back away. Angel's in trouble, but here comes Bin from the back line. Kanavi using a stopwatch knockup onto everyone, and down goes the jungler. Zoom trying to make his way into the fight, but he's too late to the party and has to back away. Fantastic stuff from Suning.
Great pick from Suning. Don't get the dragon, but they get the tower. They're getting the kills. They're getting more gold funneled into their team, and that's all they want to do right now. So Suning looking absolutely splendid, whereas JDG have looked completely out of sorts in this game.
And you know what? It was Luke Skywalker that was leading the Rebels back in Revenge of the Jedi. Revenge of the Jedi? Return of the Jedi. And it's going to be Bin in this team fight as well that manages to turn things around for them.
And look, it doesn't really matter that the ultimate from Sword Art missed, because Bin has got the perfect positioning, knowing that he's coming in completely unspotted, because earlier on, Sword Art had moved in, he got the vision control on that top side, nobody had visited there from JDG, so Bin gets the perfect spot, gets the pick, and now you're starting to see, as we said, those items starting to come through, and JDG, when we look at the way they were successful in Spring, was through dominant top, a dominant mid pick, and supporting Kanavi in any sort of endeavor he went to. This time around, they're not able to support him as well.
And, well, someone else that's not getting support right now is Zoom in the top lane, and it's actually going to be Sword Art zooming with the Shirelias, and he'll grab himself a kill as well. Bin has moved down to the bottom side of the map, where he's just going to continue to push all day long.
And he's able to just keep going because, well, Zoom's dead. You now are going to spot the rest of JDG all huddled together underneath this mid wave, which means that bottom turret is now going to go towards Suning as well. And this 4K gold lead is very quickly starting to get out of hand.
And look at the CS differences across the map right here. Generally speaking, in the side lanes, it's about even. But when you come to that jungle matchup, it's well and truly in favor of SOFM. He's 2-0-2 with a 50 CS lead as well. He is massive in the jungle. The tier 1 has finally gone down in the bottom lane as well. And Dacta, we're watching the Spring Champions right now be thoroughly dismantled by Suning.
I don't know what to tell you. This is Suning looking really damn good. And it comes back to SOFM stepping up on this Graves pick. One of the members that when I looked at Suning, I have big question marks for, because SOFM, when he was on the likes of Sejuani's and Jarvan's, wasn't quite able to find the engages that I really needed him to do. Didn't have the confidence to go for those plays and allow Huanfeng and Angel to be the carries for this roster. Now that he's moving over towards these more carry-orientated junglers and Bin is taking on the mantle alongside Sword Art Engage, they look far better.
Trouble Bubble just about goes wide, but that was a little bit close for SOFM. Baron is on the map, and let's bear in mind, there's an Aphelios on the side of Suning. They can rush this if they really want to. They're 5,000 gold up as well.
They don't need to. You got Twisted Fate free pushing in the top lane. Bin has now outscaled the Renekton in the bottom side of the map as well, so you've got a winning bot side matchup. So overall, I mean, look at the confidence from SOFM. He's just walking straight into Kanavi saying, do something.
Kanavi's red buff. Kanavi actually had to smite that one away in the end, but literally walked up. Kanavi is right there, ignores him completely. He's like, I'm going to take this red buff right in front of you.
That's the bold move. That's the confidence play, and you just gotta love the arrogance, because Kanavi knows he can't do very much, manages to get the smite, but still, it's Suning taking over the jungle, taking over this game, and JDG struggling to find any sort of answer.
Honestly, if you'd told me back in spring or back in finals that Kanavi, in his first series of summer, wouldn't be able to do anything on the map, I'd have called you a nutter. But that is exactly what we're seeing here, and SOFM, not the player that I was expecting to be the one to challenge Kanavi in this way and to force him out of his own jungle.
I mean, I don't know. SOFM coming across from LNG, LNG stepping up, now SOFM is stepping up. Every team is stepping up, and Loken now forced the flash.
That was real close from the Tempered Fate there. Nicely done by Sword Art to force the flash. Dragon up in 5 seconds here, and Suning have decided now that this is an objective that they want to contest for. They want to be a part of this one. You see Angel up in the top side of the map right now. He's going to have that Destiny available. Kanavi knows that he has to contest for this one, but Bin is here with the Cyclone available. Teleport now from Zoom. They might actually be able to pull this one off. SOFM gets the smite, though, before the fight kicks off, and now Kanavi is low. Everybody here from Suning collapsing. They're desperately trying to get onto Loken, onto Kanavi. The health bars so low, but Zoom tanking up a lot of this damage.
JDG are on the wrong side of the map, though. Now, Suning can either just go towards mid, catch JDG completely unawares, or collapse on them.
We'll see what the option is going to be here. Bin doesn't have the Cyclone, but he's still in that flanking position right now. Damage going through on both sides right here. Huanfeng desperate to do something. Bin goes in. He doesn't have Cyclone. Forced to flash now. Might have made a mistake on the back of this one. SOFM tries to follow up, but it's just going to be a kill for JDG. Now the damage continuing from Huanfeng. He flashes on forwards. He's 1v3 right now, and he just doesn't have the damage. Zoom shuts him down. Sword Art tries to escape, and now Angel just about gets away as well. JDG turning this game on its head. Sword Art desperately running away, but now he's the one on the wrong side of the map. Sword Art's going to go down, and JDG find themselves the fight.
It's a disaster from Suning. Rather than taking the bird in the bush, pushing up mid lane, starting to put pressure onto this tier 2 tower, they get greedy. They try to finish off JDG so they can turn towards the Baron, but it all goes disastrously. Bin dying, so... he's got no ultimate. I don't know what he expects here.
I don't know why. I just don't know. He went in 1v4, and that's that. And then Huanfeng is like, oh, we go in 1v4? Hey, I can do that. Yeah. Goes in 1v4.
And especially when Huanfeng misses that Moonlight Vigil at the start of that, well, I say the start of that, but partway through that fight, meant there was so little damage left on the Suning roster. Maybe if that Moonlight Vigil does land, you've got all the damage with the Infernum spreading throughout everyone, and maybe, just maybe, you can make that play work. But flashing in aggressively, now you've down all your summoner spells on the Aphelios. Sword Art doesn't have anything either. This JDG play becomes so much more potent, where maybe they can find these big engages onto the carries of Suning.
I'm going to chalk this one down to giddiness from Suning, because right now they're up against the Spring Champs, and I think they may be bit off a little more than they could chew. They thought that they could push their advantage even further. Doesn't work out, but they are still in the lead right now. Unfortunately for them, though, that is a big gold swing in favor of JDG.
It is, but Suning's still outscale. Look, Bin is going to control this side lane. You're going to have Huanfeng who will outscale Loken as well. SOFM is going to beat out Kanavi, so it's not the end of the world. It's just going to put a little bit of a bump in the road for Suning, as long as they don't continue to make mistakes like that.
It's going to be Bin recalling there. As soon as the vision is lost on the rest of JDG, these side laners from Suning have to be careful. They have to respect the fact that the collapse could come on through from anyone on JDG. Try and punish them for overextending. But they pretty much have to focus on Bin in that scenario, because if you try and go on Angel, he's just going to use that Destiny and escape.
Yeah, and that's the big issue. Suning now looking confident in these side lanes. This is the way I imagine that they're going to keep playing this, is pushing in waves, slowly getting the vision control in their favor, and then having Sword Art kind of play this in-between role where he can teeter between the top and the bottom side of the map, keep people safe, or even set up for plays with that Temper Fate.
I'm curious if we do see trying to set up for plays with the Tempered Fate here, whether we do see Suning pushing their front foot forward, or whether we just see them continuing this kind of 1-3-1 style and just trying to win via map control rather than actually forcing a fight onto JDG.
Well, that's the thing. It's more about Sword Art being that extra man. It's a way you can play a lot of... it's a way actually it used to be played for like the likes of Rengar and stuff, but it's more important here for the Bard just to play off to the side lane, so then you can throw down these Tempered Fates, keep people in check. So say you have Kanavi and Zoom suddenly jumping on towards Bin, but now you got a Tempered Fate to pick off one, possibly two of them, give time for Bin to escape, or give time for Bin to just take the 1v2. Like, he's very strong right now with that Dead Stance completed.
Oh, he's real strong. Tempered Fate onto Kanavi here. Lumao knows what's going on because he's dipped off of the Jarvan. Kanavi is real tanky, though. That's going to be a Cataclysm coming on in. There's no follow-up, though. Lumao barely gets away with his own life. With the jungler down, Bin now can freely pressure in the bottom lane, and they can threaten Baron.
They don't need to. Bin's threatening the bot side. All they need to do is step away from JDG here.
Whew. Oh, that trouble bubble. It lands onto Huanfeng, but there's no follow-up. Loken's in trouble, though. Cyclone comes on through, and another knock-up will be available in just a moment. Loken has so many flashes, so many jumps. He manages to get away with his life, and he turns it around. Yagao the one to get the kill onto Bin. And now they try and follow up. They try and find more. This is the game plan now for JDG. Chase down and shut down Angel the target. He's got his gold card procs, but he runs out at the worst possible moment, and Loken finds another. SOFM does get the dragon in the end. It was Huanfeng to finish it off, but now the pings go down to Baron.
But this is disastrous from Suning. They haven't realized that they don't need to kill JDG to beat JDG. It's all about getting these turrets down, getting more pressure on the map, and unfortunately trying to get onto Loken with the disengage from the Yuumi, with the heals from Yuumi, as well as the flashes, dashes, everything from Loken, means they can't go get the kill, overextend, and give JDG the Baron.
This is going to be Baron going their way. And the big question will be, what can they do with it? But also, when you look at the gold right now, that Baron has evened things up. We're dead even on the scoreboard. And suddenly these Infernal Drakes become a much bigger deal.
And it's heartbreaking for Suning because they look so good to begin with, but not just realizing we can finish out this game by just playing through side lanes, not needing to fight, not needing to toss the coin in the air and figure out which way it's going to land. And JDG have been playing these fights very well, which is giving them the opportunity to come back.
I have to criticize Angel a little bit here as well in this game. 0-3 and 4 on the Twisted Fate. Didn't have a fun time of it during the laning phase, and I was willing to chalk that up to, you know, Twisted Fate, not the strongest laner in the world. It did get ganked quite a lot when his flash was on cooldown. But now that we're getting to the point in the game where Twisted Fate is meant to be at his strongest, he's struggling to have an impact.
I think that's mostly from the calls from Suning, though. I mean, you just want Twisted Fate off in the side lane, or maybe if you can make these fights work, but every fight has gone in favor of JDG, and now SOFM
needs to use this quick draw effectively if Kanavi does commit. SOFM is not afraid of Kanavi this game. Every single time. Oh, it is Kanavi that gets the red buff there, but every single time they meet, SOFM steps forward instead of back.
Bin should not be backing right now. He can still put pressure here. They've eyes on every member of JDG, and look how low that top lane inhibitor turret is.
Yeah, he doesn't have teleport, and I think he's basically just saying, look, I need to be here for the fight, deciding that the fight is more important than the inhibitor.
Well, they're not going to be able to hold on to this turret anyway, so it's JDG now picking up the turrets for free. You do have SOFM in a decent position to try and get this flank off, but here we go.
Cyclone comes on in Loken over the wall, though. They can't really fully commit to this fight. Now the Cataclysm goes in. Angel's caught out once again. And Zoom is just invincible. Cuts them down, and Huanfeng trying to escape. Suning, it looked so good at the start of the game. It looked like this was the game for them. But now they're just being chased down and torn apart by the side of JDG. JDG have found their groove once again, and into the mid lane they go.
And they'll be able to finish off the game off of this, what was looking like a definite Suning victory. JDG managed to snap back from the jaws of defeat, and will find victory in Game 1.
Phenomenal stuff coming out from JDG, and you know, this is why they won the Spring Finals. This is why these guys are the best team in the LPL. Damage out of Huanfeng, it's not quite enough. Good effort from him, but ultimately 13-5. And a win from JDG after being so far behind the entire game.
And I was wondering what way this game was going to go. Was it going to be an LNG victory like we saw from FPX, or was it going to be Rogue War?